What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. Please give me a 1 in the comments if you can hear me okay. Please share the stream, like the content as you come in. We have breaking news. 2 National Guardsmen shot in DC, not even a mile away from the White House. A suspect is in custody. For a second there, I thought our National Guardsman was going soft because I was like, I know they didn't let this dude roll up on them and just light they butt up and they didn't get one off, but they shot his ass and they got his ass and he is in custody. Well, he's in the hospital right now because he laid up, and it restored my faith in our beautiful American republic. There's a serious situation going on. We have people in our country who are being radicalized. It's very hard to imagine that happening in a place like America where we are blessed with so much abundance. But I'm going to say something that you probably never heard before, but victimhood is the new plantation. Victimhood is the new plantation. These people have been mentally enslaved by the idea that they are somehow victims of oppression because everyone doesn't agree with every single thing that they believe or think verbatim. We have gone from 200 years, 400 years of slavery, right? To now the new, through freedom, to now being mental slaves. I used to hear that mental slavery term in songs and in documentaries and, in different debates when I would watch Sonetter. And I always wondered how that would evolve, right? You hear that a lot in Black spaces. But now it has seeped out of the fringe and seeped into the mainstream, into the core or the center of the nucleus of our society. You have people who are ready to kill because you don't agree with them. the National Guard is in DC as a deterrent. They can't enforce laws. They can't arrest anyone. All they can do is operate something like glorified security guards. They can observe, and they can report to local law enforcement, assisting them in the enforcement of the law. Why would you go after them? Basically thinking that they were a soft target because you know there's really nothing they can do to you unless they are attacked or provoked. Why didn't you go after regular law enforcement? And what I'm telling you is terrorists and insurgents, they attack soldiers. When a civilian is trying to hurt somebody or is trying to go after an authority figure, they go after police officers. They go after their boss at work. They go after, someone who they feel is in a position of authority over them. When you get to the point where you're attacking soldiers in our nation's capital, that, my friends, is what I believe is the beginning of a true insurrection and a true insurgency. Man, it is amazing to me how things come full circle. Things come full circle. We just watched January 2021 as every liberal with a television and a cell phone was saying it was the people on the right who would lead an insurrection or an insurgency in this country. And as we speak, we have in our lifetime, which is crazy, not one, but 3 assassination attempts on the president before he was even president. They tried to do an old Mexico shine bomb job. They tried to eliminate the competition, first through the weaponization of the justice system, and then with a good old-fashioned assassination attempt. And our president got shot, and he vowed to continue to fight. And it's in moments like these that I am, reassured. It's the situation that happened with Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, that makes me know that I have to fight too. You have to fight. You can't just fold up because you're scared. Because now that the world is waking up to the political ignorance of the left, now that the population of the United States is waking up to the pie in the sky delusion that is the leftist propaganda, they have to find another way to get you to agree with the nonsense that they're saying. And the media spun hysteria and sensationalist rhetoric that they've subscribed to. And the only way you can make someone agree to something that makes absolutely no sense is to scare them. Trump wasn't a big enough boogeyman. Russia wasn't a big enough boogeyman. They have to make you fear something to get you to vote for them. Think about that. They have to make you fear something to get you to support the nonsense that they're trying to sell you. So now that there's no more boogeyman and we're living in the age of information, and we can expose their lies in real time. The rise of the independent media platforms such as this, it has really done a job on the sensationalist, fear-mongering machine that is politics in America. And so now they have to find something else to make you afraid of. And what I'm quickly realizing, since the death of Charlie Kirk, since this attack on the National Guardsmen, since the 3 assassination attempts on Donald Trump, they're just ready to start shooting at you. They are ready to start killing, to instill fear in you so that you won't dare disagree, well, at least not publicly, with the nonsense that they are trying to sell to America. the nonsense, the self-destructive ideology that they're trying to get other Americans to buy into. And of course, we are not going to buy into it because it's like, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to live my life being a permanent victim. I don't want to be like the whacked out chick in my building smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day, convinced that the world hates her and wants to just do all types of crazy things to every liberal person with blue hair and her Kamala Harris for president sign still in her window. I don't want to live like that. I want to thrive. I want to prosper. I want to build a better future for my children. That's what you're put here for. Even a squirrel collects nuts for the baby squirrels when they grow up, or it's for them to eat and live and thrive. Even a lion go out and kill a gazelle and drag it back to the babies. But these people want you to be locked into the victim mindset all the time. Victimhood is the new plantation. And if you don't watch yourself, you might just find yourself on it. Victimhood is the new plantation. These radical leftist freaks are the slave catchers, and rhino conservatives like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, they are the collaborators. They are the ones who are sold to the highest bidder. They are the ones who gaslight you every day or every time they get a chance to try to nudge you onto the victimhood plantation. Let's cover this breaking news out of Washington. I have a couple of media sources here that I checked out earlier when I first heard about this, and I'm going to share them with you. And feel free to drop any comments that you have in the comment section. We have super chats available. We have Cash App available, PayPal, several different donation vehicles. Feel free to drop comments. Any developments that you've heard, I have no problem. We're live. Let's interact with each other. We don't have to pretend like we don't know each other. Any developments that you might have, let me know. I'll search them up in real time and confirm them, or we can determine whether they're true or not, accurate. But as far as we know, there was a gunman who attacked 2 National Guardsmen. I believe they were both shot, but the gunman was also shot, and he is now in the hospital. He is in custody, the alleged gunman. So I'm going to share this window right here.
All right, Fox News alert. This is breaking right now. We can confirm now 2 National Guard troops have been shot in Washington near the White House, is what we are told. We do not know about their conditions at this time. We are just starting to get brand new details, but we can confirm 2 military personnel have been shot near the White House. Paul Morrow is joining us by phone. He's a retired NYPD inspector. Paul, we're just starting to get details here. What can you add to what we've learned so far?
Well, obviously it's very sketchy at this point, but your mind has to go to the fact that, of course, the National Guard has been deployed as an anti-crime measure in Washington. So while normally we would think of the White House as being, okay, maybe they were securing the White House, that's not really what they do. The National Guard doesn't really have that as a primary role. You have the Capitol Police and Secret Service and other elements there. Can the National Guard be involved? Sure. But where my mind goes right now is the fact that they've been out there using their omnipresence as a deterrent. I keep making this point on the air. A lot of people misunderstand the role of the National Guard in this counter-crime stuff. They're not there to answer 911 calls, to boom doors, to get cats out of trees. Their thing is to stand there, be present, be a deterrent. They look very impressive in the uniforms. We have them here in New York and have since 9/11. Something else that people miss. We've had them for 25 years here in our transportation hubs. But all you can think right now is just thinking logically, is this sounds like, at this point, you have to consider, is this something relative to the crime deployment? that we know is going on in Washington.
Yeah, Paul, to orient our viewers a little bit, so you're looking live at a shot of the White House, but this shooting apparently occurred at 17th and I Street, which is about 2 or 3 blocks away from the White House. It's right by Lafayette Park and the Farragut Metro. One of the deployments tactics of the National Guard was to put them around these downtown metro stop areas. And so you would normally on any given day see a few guard troops in these areas. But this location, I'm wondering if you make anything about the fact that this is one of the central areas in downtown, just blocks from the White House.
Well, Griff, I think you make a very good point. That has been one of the sort of salient locations in all of this, going back, in fact, to the riot that we had there around the monument and all of that. So it's quite conceivable that if somebody is trying, again, we're just speculating now, but if somebody is trying to send a message, you'd have to think that that would be a place that has particular significance. But either way, I was just down in D.C. To testify to Congress, actually, and you see them around, and I passed 2 of them, 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning, very late at night, and there they are walking along the street. Just again, their omnipresence, their eyes and ears, and they were just walking by me, and I made sure to say hello to them and let them know they were appreciated. But
yeah, and that's what we're really worried about here. His concern is the same concern that I had. Is this someone trying to send a message? I mean, you know me, I love jumping out on a limb, but I'm going to say right now that this was an act of domestic terrorism. I don't understand what political agenda can be achieved by going to Washington, D.C., not going after the president, but attacking National Guardsmen. To me, that is a symbolic gesture. That is a political gesture, and it's definitely meant to send a message. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is some individual? It could be an individual like the Unabomber. It could be a terrorist cell. I'm waiting not only to see the nationality or origin of this person who did this shooting, but I want to know. I'm already ready to see what's on his server, in his laptop or in his computer. I want to see what this guy's into, and that's one of the benefits to living in the age of information. We can dig deeper. We don't have to just go by what this person says. But what could possess someone? What could possess someone to ruin their Thursday by going to the White House? Well, going less than a mile away from the White House and shooting 2 innocent National Guardsmen who are just doing their job. They're just doing their job. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But we definitely have to get to the bottom of this. This is unacceptable. And I hope that this will ignite some type of movement back towards unity, where we can, start appealing to common sense. Because I don't like this little game that the Democrats play where they try to condemn and denounce something without actually condemning it or denouncing it. They try to talk in between the situation, in between the lines, almost like giving a don't do that, but yeah, keep doing that type of message, sending that type of message to potentially radicalize people. It's not good. It's going absolutely nowhere. And who's ever responsible for this, or anyone who may even be remotely connected to this situation, you need to stop what you're doing, and you need to count the cost, as they say. Count the cost. What is this gonna do to our society? I don't want America looking like Nigeria. I don't want America looking like the Middle East, where you have all these insurgent groups in the hills and in the mountains coming down to harass the citizens in retaliation against the government. You don't want to live like that. You think your life is much worse than it is. You're still the poorest American is still doing 99% better than a person living in a third world country. Don't give that up. Don't sacrifice that just because you're angry because a couple of people don't agree with you. Let's debate it. Let's take it to the voting booth, and let's handle our differences that way. But this ain't it. This is not it. And I should be able to feel confident that there are many who will echo this same sentiment. I believe these people are trying to start a war. I don't think an all-out war. I think they're trying to start like a proxy war, or at the minimum provoke a reaction from the right side of our politics. So then they can say, oh, look at what they're doing, because this is what happens. They do. And then when you do, they point it out and say, oh, you're Hitler, you're a Nazi, you're a Klan, you're the KKK, you're violent, you're doing it, you're trying to launch an insurrection or a coup. This game is getting old. And I, for one, am ready to get back to the America that I remember. When was America great? America was real great before Joe Biden got elected, because I feel like, and even better before Obama got elected, because I feel like all these people do is divide and conquer. And right now, the Democrat Party is doing a great job at perpetuating the divide and conquer narrative. I should not have to argue with my own cousin who's calling me crazy. Old man, 80 years old. He's calling me crazy because I won't support a Democrat who wants to allow a transgender woman who's actually a man with a phallus to go into the bathroom with my daughter. That's divide and conquer. But in order to divide and conquer, one or both parties has to be radicalized. And I'm telling you, it's very easy to see what's going on here, because look at who's acting like a radical. Look at who's acting like a radical. First, you have the Epstein files. Cool. Found out, oh, it's the Democrats taking the money from Epstein. Now we got the shooting, the assassination attempts. Now this shooting of the National Guardsmen. And it's like, look, everything they say we are, they are. Everything they say we're going to do, they're doing it. At this point, the evidence is clear. This is no longer even debatable as far as I'm concerned. The evidence is clear. These people have been radicalized by media-pushed, media-spun, left-wing radical propaganda, and it has to stop. We're going to have to pass some type of law. It's a real tricky situation because you don't want to infringe on people's freedom of speech and on the freedom of the press. But man, if you are doing nothing but putting out content with the intended purpose of deceiving and sensationalizing Americans, something has to be done. Something has to be done, because there were people who witnessed this shooting. There were people who witnessed this shooting, and they're not happy about this. They're not saying, oh, good, he got the National Guard. Oh, he got one of Trump's agents, right? They're not saying that. They're pissed off. Nobody wants to live in a country where they walking down the street and could potentially get chipped off by some random radicalized gunman. No one wants to feel unsafe. In the group, and it's crazy how the group that's supposed to be so caring, tolerant, loving, and empathetic, it's amazing how they are the ones making everyone unsafe because they can't get their way. Biden won the presidency, right? As a conservative, I had to watch Biden for 4 years act like he didn't even know where the hell he was. I had to watch the president fall down flights of steps, get lost on stage after speeches. I had to watch the president literally revert back to the mind of a child during very serious situations. And not once did I say, let me go get a gun and go shoot at the president. Let me go get a gun and go shoot at the National Guard. I said in 4 more years, in 4 more years, I'm going to have an opportunity to do something about this. And guess what? 4 years passed and I got my butt over in that voting booth and I did something about it. That's exactly what you should do. That's exactly what we should all do. Not plan on doing harm to others, innocent people. Let's check this video out.
Through your mind?
The children. They
I want to bring in our Jay and Brian, who's there on the scene. You have some other witnesses, I am told, Jay. I know our photographer, Chris Plater, Jay, was there on the scene getting pictures even of those National Guard members on the ground getting worked on by EMS. Let me know if we can talk to him. Tell me who you've been talking to. Who's with you, Jay?
So we've got a number of eyewitnesses here lined up for you. One of them is Chris. Kira, we're going to go to him in a moment. But first, I want to bring in Stacy Walters here, a Howard student who was in an Uber when you heard some of these shots. Howard alum. Yeah. You were in an Uber when you heard some of the shots. Is that right? Yeah. Walk us through. So you're in the car. You hear the shots. What happens?
I was in the Uber. I heard boom, boom twice. I was looking at my cell phone and the Uber driver said, why are all these people running? So then I looked out the window and it was little children. They looked probably about 5 years old on both sides of the street running, and adults. And whoever was supervising the children said, go, go, run. Then I heard someone yell, help, in the direction of the shooting. But I didn't see who yelled help. I don't know if it was the individual who was shot or someone yelling for help for the individual. We're on 17th Street Northwest. So I knew I wanted to research Slater. So I asked the Uber driver, what's the cross street? But he didn't know. And I was just at lunch going to go to the dry cleaners. And then the guards, I don't know if they're guards, Secret Service.
She looked like she was on her way to the dope house, but that's neither here nor there. This person is absolutely sick. This is what listen, man. These people don't care about you. These people don't care about your children. They only care about getting their way. These are a bunch of adults, if you can even call them that, with so much entitlement that they don't care who they have to hurt, as long as they believe that will take them one step closer to getting their way. That is literally what a terrorist is. That is literally what an insurgent is. That is literally what a radical is. They are willing to make any sacrifice to get their way. And you can tell the guy was ready to make basically the ultimate sacrifice, because you go, let me adjust this. You go shooting at National Guardsmen. All I'm going to say is, if I go to shoot at the National Guard, so these are soldiers, right? I'm not planning on making it home for dinner. I know in my mind that there's a really good chance that I could, be done after that exchange. So what is going through this person's head? How far have these people, really come to where they're willing to risk their lives? They're willing to risk their lives in an attempt to prove a point? In an attempt to let people know that they're not happy with the leadership of Donald Trump? Bro, wait 3 more years. He's in, but he's almost out. And he's getting older by the day. For all you know, he could have a stroke and have to step down tomorrow, God forbid. Right? But this is nothing that you should be risking your life or the life of others over. It's politics. We live in a system of checks and balances. No one can really get away with too much unless the people unanimously agree to it, right? So why the need for all this ridiculousness? Why the need for these type of displays of violence? There's no need for all that. There's no need for all that. There is no excuse for it. and there's no need for it. I'm sorry, I will never be able to get on board with that. Some people, they play around with the idea, oh, you can't support this and you can't support that. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you what I'm never going to support. I'm never going to support anybody doing violence over politics. That's what I'm never going to support. I've been to Africa many times. Stayed there. I've been to Africa during elections. I've seen what it looks like when people get to the point where they're willing to hurt each other over the outcomes of over the outcomes of elections. It never ends well for anyone. It scars the entire nation. Irreparably harms the psyche of generation after generation. And it creates an element of distrust within the country that will fracture the country to the point where it can never come together. That's not what I want. I have friends who are liberals. I don't understand why. I don't understand why, but I don't want to kill them. I don't want to see them get hurt. I don't agree with the policies. I doggone sure don't agree with the pedophilia, but I'm not trying to hurt them over it. I can bring them here to the debate stage and we can battle it out like intellectuals. Let's keep going on this video.
But their uniform definitely with government level said you have to turn around. So you have to turn around, and that was around 2:15 p.m.
Stacey, compared to where we are now, right, using this as our place, where were you approximately when you heard these shots?
That's the thing. I never paid attention. We were turning on to 17th Street.
Okay.
Because that's why I even asked the driver.
So you were down the street, turning onto this street.
We were so close that the shooting had just happened in the road. They had just, like, they were still letting people through. Mm-hmm. But by the time they got to us, they said, you have to turn around.
When you saw those people running, what went through your mind?
The children. They were little children. And it's such a beautiful day. You know, that's the first thing I thought about, like, who would do this? It's getting ready to be the holidays. And so many children, they just weren't on one side of the road. They were on both sides of the road, little children running.
When you heard those pops, as you described, did you immediately think it was a shooting?
No, I'm originally from Connecticut. I only came to DC for Howard University. I'm in the suburbs. Like, I've never been so close to anything like this. I didn't know there were gunshots. All I know, I heard boom, boom 2 times.
Stacey Walters, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Kira, if you will indulge me here, I'm also going to bring in Chris Plater, who's been behind the camera for all of this coverage here. It was Chris Plater who was walking back to work at our ABC bureau, which is just a few blocks away, who heard that gunfire, and then he saw what appears to be those National Guards members wounded lying there on the ground. I want to bring Chris in here as he steps around the camera. And Chris, you've been with us for the entire day. It was you who called this in to our bureau.
Stacey said, I'm from Connecticut. I never even heard gunshots before. Stacey is high as a kite. But listen, man, I'm telling you something, and this is why I don't get too worried about the left or the Democrats. And I hate to keep always bringing up Democrats. Understand, I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of it, but we have to just call it what it is. If the term Democrat is not appropriate or the leftist, let me know so I can change my lingo. But let me tell you something. They're killing their own movement. They're killing their own movement. This is how Donald Trump is beating them. He just gaslights them. He waits for them to melt down, and they kill their own movement. You know what's going to come out. You know who did this. It's just like with the Charlie Kirk situation. You know what's going to come out. You know who's going to be determined to be responsible for this. And do you think that when it's all said and done, people are going to want to put the people who are supported by these radicals in charge? Do you think Stacey is going to be like, you know what? I need to go vote Democrat this time. No. And that's why you see the Democrat Party doing everything they can to separate themselves from this radical element within their party. You just yesterday, Zohran Mamdani distanced himself from the far left. They asked him, does he think Chiose, right? There's a guy named Chiose in New York. He wants to primary Hakeem Jeffries, right? He's a friend of Zohran Mamdani. He's a far left socialist or wannabe communist, baby communist. Zohran said, no, I want Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker of the House if the Democrats manage to take back the House. They're feeling betrayed right now because of that. The far left socialists are feeling betrayed because of that. But the reality is these politicians are smart enough to understand. While this rhetoric may be useful to bring these people out to the ballot box to vote for me, this rhetoric dies once I enter into the role that I was vying for. Once I enter into the office that I was trying to get into, this rhetoric has to stop. Because if I continue with this rhetoric, I won't get anything done. Because if there's one thing these politicians know, and if it's one thing that they've all studied in depth, it is the fall of empires. It is how empires went from being at the top to being at the bottom. And one of the main characteristics of an empire that's in decline is the perpetuation or enabling of radical elements within society. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. They'll keep gnawing at you, chipping at you until eventually they make some headway. And next thing you know, you're on the bottom, they're on top, and your country is disintegrating before your eyes. I wouldn't compare this to the Bolshevik Revolution. The Bolsheviks actually had the heart to fight. These dudes are cowards. These dudes are trying to go after soft targets, trying to get 2 unassuming National Guardsmen. And let me tell you how dumb he is. He probably thought he was doing something to hurt the Department of Homeland Security by going after those National Guardsmen. No, the deportations will continue until morale improves. Do I need to say that again? Put a 1 in the comments if you want me to say that again. Hell, put the 1, I'm going to say it anyway. The deportations will continue until morale improves.
What did you see at first? What did you hear?
Okay, so I it's what I heard first. And what I heard were, like pop, pop, pop. It could have been a steel plate or something. There's a lot of construction and things going around. So I just thought that maybe it was some plates going on or something like that. But then boom, boom, boom. And so I'm starting to hear these big guns. I'm like, okay, this is something's going on. So people
see the pop, pop, pop was when the suspect was shooting at them. The boom, boom, boom was when they started shooting back. Boy, you brought a pistol to fight 2 dudes with rifles? High power rifles. It's over. Assault weapons. It's over for you. You might as well, you would have been better off bringing a slingshot. You're going to be like P4K, boom, boom, boom. When you hear that, it's over. Everybody better hit the dirt. Crazy. These liberals are out of their mind.
at first were a little shocked. It was stunned, like, is that construction? And so some people kind of jogged a little bit. And then when those big booms started happening, people started clearing out like, yo, this is a little bit serious. This is shooting. There's something bad going on here. So immediately I went forward to see what was going on. And as you see in the video, I see 2 National Guard members down. And people are working on them,
Providing first aid.
There was, some police officers that came a little later. It was kind of strange because it seemed like it took like 25 to 35 seconds for any police to respond. When you think about where we are, the White House, so close. And so that's when I was like, could it really be? But it really was. These National Guard members were down.
So Chris,
the police officers are civilians, bro. They're trying to make it home for dinner every night. They're ducking until the shooting stops. If you've ever been anyone who got shot at or you've shot at people, I've done both. The police don't come until the shooting stops. The police are not running into a hell of bullets. They're not doing that. This is not the movies. This is not the movies. They're not running into what appears to be assault rifle fire. And they're expecting these National Guardsmen to be able to handle themselves, right? So you don't have to do that. You take cover, you observe, you see what you could see, and then you move in when the coast is clear, right? On top of that, what do you think this does to the psyche of law enforcement? Because understand, for any of the radical left propaganda and hysteria and sensationalism to be successful and take a foothold, you need the support of law enforcement. If you go to places like Berkeley and liberal areas, liberal towns, law enforcement is in cahoots with the radical blue-haired freaks. They're in cahoots with them. You need the law enforcement apparatus to help you enforce your policies, enforce your new laws, right? So once they see that the radical left blue-haired freaks are attacking law enforcement, do you think that makes them want to support it? Why do you think there are record resignations in law enforcement all over the country? Many police officers don't want to be a part of this. There are some who will still work because they have to make a living and they have bills to pay. But when you attack a National Guardsman, what do you think the cop thinks about him? He's significantly less when it comes to an authority figure than a National Guard soldier. The National Guard is directly connected to the president, right? If you're willing to try to go after them, how much more willing would you be to go after a regular metropolitan police officer, or even go after his family, or go after one of his kids if you get some information on him? See, you got to let all this stuff, you got to consider all these things. And I'm telling you, you are watching the destruction, the self-destruction of the left-wing apparatus within, our political structure. Do you guys want to go to another topic, or do you want to keep covering this? Let me know.
In relation to where we're standing now, we're across the street from the metro station. Can you describe where you saw the activity and what you saw where in relation to where we are here?
Okay, so where we are right now, I came up and crossed the street.
So you were you were a block away on the other side of the street.
I was right here at the metro stop.
Yeah.
I went over there to see what was going on, and that's where you see the video. I began videotaping, and they at some point got to clear us out and move us back here on this corner here. Mm-hmm. And so then I continued shooting and waiting, and that's when the police were responding and everything. So it was just all here, just a lot of people just running the opposite way through the park and past me, and there was some people that were one person said something like, man, the guy went up there and started shooting at the National Guard. I didn't get to talk to him. I didn't get to know who he was, but it sounded like he suggested that somebody went up and started shooting at the National Guard.
So Chris, just to walk back a second here, one of the things you saw was very graphic, and we have to describe it with care here, but you did see, and you videotaped, one of or both of those National Guardsmen having first aid provided onto them lying on the street. Is that correct?
Yeah, one National Guard was lying on his side. They were rendering aid to him. He wasn't moving, but he was on his side. And then I looked at the other National Guard member that was down, and I saw compressions going on. There was a lot of people around there, so I don't think it was the person that done the shooting. And all I could tell you is that I identified 2 National Guard members that were being worked on.
Okay, so there's a chance that these National Guard members died. There's a chance that they could be dead. If they do die in the line of duty in serving their country, and if it turns out this guy was a radicalized leftist, I am very curious to see how this is handled by the justice system. Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is an act of domestic terrorism. Why would you go after 2 soldiers? The guy didn't just do a random mass shooting, just shooting at whoever because he's mad, having a bad day. He targeted 2 soldiers, walked up on them, and let off with his weapon. And hopefully he dies. But why would you target them? This is starting to look more and more like an act of domestic terrorism. And that would mean we've entered into a realm politically that I never thought I'd see in this country.
Chaotic. And now, as we've been saying over the course of the afternoon, Kira, it's now transitioning from the immediate aftermath of the shooting where they were rendering first aid, they were loading, as we witnessed, some of these guardsmen into ambulances and speeding off. And now this investigation is well underway with DC police closing this intersection. And we saw, as I was talking to Chris, FBI agents and ATF agents walking toward that crime scene now, Kira.
All right, Jay. It's incredible, the live pictures and the details that you are bringing us. Thank you so much to Chris. It looks like there's some officers behind you that might be able to give you some information. We're going to stay close with you. But now, apparently, the President of the United States has put a statement out on Truth Social saying, without a doubt, whoever did this is going to pay a very steep price.
Yeah, so Trump is on it. You know, he relishes opportunities like this. It's really time for the nation to try to come together, but it's very hard to come together when you have a radicalized element within your population. It's really hard. Hit 'em Hard said, what race is the biggest terrorist in America? I don't know. I think all races in America have done stuff that would make one they've done things that people wouldn't look too fondly upon. I can look Democrats and Republicans are white people. Yeah, Hit 'em Hard. You own something for sure. There are people of all races and colors and religions within all the parties. We're way past that level of ignorance, my brother. Come on, my brother. But I just want to see how this develops. I want to see how this develops. But I'm trying to find out right now if this shooter is in custody. I want to see if we got any more information on this guy, because they were saying, from what I saw, oh yeah, the suspect is in custody. The troops are critically wounded. Let's play this before we do anything else. So they are saying that the suspect, yeah, okay, so they did die. Okay, so I'll confirm that, but we're getting reports from the audience that they died. See what I'm saying? You just entered into a whole nother realm, so to speak. Let's get the information.
And right now, the White House is releasing a statement. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, is saying that the White House is aware and actively monitoring this tragic situation, and the president has been briefed. Again,
we've been listening to Fox 5 DC coverage. We will continue to be giving you the latest updates. We'll check back in with them in just moments, but we want to give you some additional updates that we are learning from our newsroom right now. And we are being told by the DC Police Department, this is a big update, that the scene is secured. One suspect right now in custody. So that is good news, as there was reports there of maybe the active shooter was still going on, but now that suspect in custody. Also getting updates, 2 members of the National Guard were shot near the White House, per DC Police, and DHS Secretary Noam says that Trump has been briefed per his press secretary. Details still unclear at this time. And Secretary Noam putting out on X saying, please join me in praying for the 2 National Guardsmen who were just shot moments ago in Washington, D.C. DHS is working with local law enforcement to gather more information. And we are going to be keeping an eye on this story, of course, for you, waiting for more major updates. We'll be waiting to see what President Trump says in the coming moments. We'll be checking his Truth Social. But in the time being, let's go back out. More coverage, Fox 5 DC with the latest.
And so we have seen them. All right, we do have our Julie Donaldson live on the street here. So we're going to toss out live to her. Julie, can you tell us what you're seeing?
Yeah, so Homa, we're here on I Street, and there is a heavy police presence. You can see a bunch of police lights flashing down here on I Street. The whole road is blocked off as we are walking up. There is police that is directing cars to go in opposite directions as this road is closed off. We're working our way a little bit closer, so we don't really have any information on anything as of now. But as we were leaving Capital One Arena, getting ready for that game, you heard police coming from all different directions. And obviously, it was very clear that something was going on, but you can just see by the amount of cars that are here right now, the amount of flashing lights. This is a pretty big scene. People are walking around trying to wonder what is going on, what is happening here. As we do get closer, of course, we'll bring you every bit of information that we can gather. But all we have right now is that these streets are just lined with every kind of cop car and every kind of, presence that they can to figure out what is going on as we do get closer to the metro station.
What do we know? Julie, we see dozens.
Okay, I was doing a little research while that was playing. They're not confirmed to be dead. Initially, it was reported that both of the National Guardsmen were dead. Now it was walked back by officials. We don't have any confirmed reports that they are dead. If you know something more than what I'm able to see, let me know. We definitely want to know the condition of those officers. I'm not seeing that they're dead. I just did a little search of a couple of trusted sources. I also asked AI. It was said that they were dead, and then it was walked back. So we're going to send our prayers out to those families. This is, of course, a major tragedy, and we are going to stay on top of this. We're going to stay on top of this to see how this plays out. I want to see this alleged shooter. I want to see who's this guy who felt that he was so righteous in his cause that he could roll up and shoot two National Guardsmen and feel valid in that, feel vindicated in that. That's crazy. But while we wait for more to develop with this, we can go over here and talk about something else that's happening in DC. There are mass evictions. Mass evictions are taking place in DC. People are basically getting kicked out of their apartments. Side dude, yeah, I'll let you call in. Oh, you're crazy. But anyway, yeah. So in the same city, DC, right now, the same people who have voted to turn Washington, D.C. into a crime-ridden cesspool are now complaining because they are finding themselves without living accommodations. D.C. put in, during the pandemic, D.C. put in some of the strictest property owner screwing laws in place when it came to these rent moratoriums, where they decreed that, like kings, they decreed that people would not have to pay their rent during the pandemic, right? And DC had some of the longest rent moratoriums out of any city anywhere.
People should be playing.
But now that the eviction moratoriums have ended, right? Now that these that the eviction moratoriums are over, the people who haven't paid their rent for months and years and months, they are now finding themselves being evicted. So what I want you to do, I'm gonna play this footage. I got this footage off Anton Daniels' channel. I'm gonna play this footage, and I want you in the comments to let me know what you think. Do you think that it's right that the landlords are evicting them because they haven't paid rent in months, some people years? Or do you think that it's wrong for the landlords to evict these people and that they should be allowed to stay indefinitely for free in their apartments or homes or wherever they're living? Let me know in the comments. I really want to get your feedback on this. Let me pull this up really quick. Okay, here it is.
The phone number the department gave people doesn't work. Some telling me that's why the line right now have been.
Ashley is joining us live now from Northeast DC. Felicia, a community member called you this morning after they were already waiting for hours.
That's right. And that call came at 6 a.m. and I got here moments later. As you can see now, it has died down. Most people have been able to make their way in, but those even at the end of the line right now have been here for more than 6 hours. Now, people told me that this was very disorganized chaos. They said that the government, the district should have been preparing for this, especially during the season that we are in. And I saw some of that as I was here. Yeah, it drops right away. The phone number the department gave people doesn't work. Some telling me that's why they had to come in person.
I lost my job 8 months ago. I haven't been able to find a new job, and that means I didn't pay rent for all that time. And now my landlord is suing to evict me. And unless I can pay the protective order, I would probably be homeless.
So wait a minute. Let me put a stop up in it. Is it that bad out here in these streets on DC? Is it that bad?
I mean, honestly, this lady was the wrong person to put a camera in front of, if you ask me. Because are we having clear, are our visuals good or are our visuals janky? Let me see. I feel like our visuals are not great. But I believe this woman was the wrong person to put a camera in front of because she's like, she's bringing up COVID. Sorry. She's bringing up COVID. And COVID was like, where are we, 2025 going into 2026? In 2026, that would place COVID at almost 4 years ago. So you haven't been paying your rent for damn near almost 4 years? Well, it makes me think she wasn't paying during COVID either. Don't tell me you were living in this place for 6 years without paying rent. And now you're surprised that the landlord's like, yo, you got to move. It's never that people don't want to do the right thing for people and help people when they're in a rough place. It's always that there's someone who's always trying to abuse the situation. They're always trying to abuse the situation. You know you have to pay rent because you know the landlord has to pay the taxes on that property, the mortgage on that property, all this stuff. So why would you sit there and not pay your rent for years after, COVID was over? I guess in a desperate attempt to do what? What was your goal? What were you trying to accomplish? Let's see if this lady has some more insight on it.
They supposed to have
This is a them problem. That's not a me problem.
Have the line working, and the line wasn't working by 9 a.m.
Michael has been in line since 5 a.m. and was able to walk out with a packet and appointment. A couple hundred weren't as lucky.
What does this mean for you now that you have this?
This is a big step as far as me being able to take care of my family.
Councilman Trayon White showed up and approached the Department of Human Services Director, Rachel Pierre, about this situation.
What does she have to say about this failed planning and failed organization treatment of people?
Ain't that the dude that's indicted? Ain't this the indictment dude?
Yep.
If my memory serves me correctly, he still got a job? What? Hold on, let me back up. I swear that this is the guy that's going into something else.
Controversy. Right now, the results show second chance to a familiar.
11 o'clock. I'm Lorenzo Hall.
And I'm Leslie Foster. Voters in Ward 8 decided who they want to fill the empty council member seat in a special election. It appears they are giving a second chance to a familiar name despite controversy. Right now, the results show Trayon White is on track to win back the seat he lost just months ago. The Associated Press and the Washington Post are both projecting him as the winner.
Wow. Oh man, Trayon. What up, Trayon? Here's the part. Here's the interesting part, though, Law. Check this out, y'all. Y'all not seeing it. Who see it? Does anybody see it? Anybody see it in the chat? Y'all let me know what y'all see inside of the chat. Who see it? Who see it?
So this guy right here, Trayon White, this was a DC councilman who was indicted on bribery charges. They said that he was given $150,000 to use his political influence to basically influence who would get city contracts and other merit-based contracts basically that companies would bid on to be selected for, right? So basically, bro was like, give me money and I'll make sure that your company gets this contract or that contract, right? Or to use his influence to help you get that contract. He hasn't been convicted, but he was indicted and his trial is set to start in January of 2026. But even though you're suspected of taking bribes and you've been indicted, there's still these people in DC are still going to trust you. This is why this city's in the position it's
really
in.
Advertise it to prevent this from happening. And you
Talk to him about rental assistance, Trayon. Get to it, bro.
Just basically saying she didn't want to really advertise it to prevent this from happening. And you don't have to advertise it because people know people, and we shouldn't be hiding government resources.
Director Pierre stayed in the lobby on the other side of the wrapped around line.
Is everyone in line going to be seen today? Okay. So you're not going to speak today, though?
The Department of Human Services provided this response 7 hours into the chaos, saying in parts, quotes, additional appointments may be scheduled based on budget availability to increase transparency, improve eligibility verification, and better manage limited program funding.
People told me they felt dehumanized, disrespected, and humiliated. The line wrapped all the way past that red car. Mind you, I'm on the opposite side of this street and rode in.
Listen, beggars can't be choosy, big dog. Beggars cannot be choosy. They can't. Line wrapped around the building.
I mean, in my opinion, how do you feel humiliated? You got multiple years of free rent. At this point, y'all should have been in a position to buy a house somewhere in America. You guys have multiple years of free rent and you're still struggling. My question to these people is simple. What did you do with all the money that came through your, passed through your pockets when you weren't paying rent? We are creating a situation where people are like comfortable just wasting. They're just wasting money. They're not trying to improve their living situation. They're literally just wasting money. Let's say your rent, okay, I cleared up the visuals. Okay, cool. Let's say your rent, guys, give me a one if the visuals improved. I got to make sure everything is focused next time. But they literally, I mean, God, think of how much money you could have saved. Yeah. Think of how much money you could have saved. Like being totally honest. Let me do the math on this. Let me do the math on this. Hold on. Let me first, I want to do some computation. Okay, so first, how long did rent moratoriums last in DC? Okay, so the rent moratoriums lasted for 2 years, March 11, 2020 to January 1st, 2022. The DC rent moratoriums was one of the longest in the United States, offering protections that extended beyond the federal eviction moratoriums. So there were federal eviction moratoriums. Biden did that. And then there were like city eviction moratoriums, right? So DC's lasted longer than the federal eviction moratoriums lasted. Okay. So it was 2 years. So, basically 2 years. So let's say your rent is let's just say $2,000 a month. Let's say how much is the median cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in DC? Okay, so the median cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in DC is $2,500 per month. So you're going to pay $2,500 per month. And for a 1-bedroom, it's $2,200 per month. Okay, so let's say we got a 1-bedroom. So you had 2 years where you didn't have to pay rent, $2,200 a month times 24. Bruh, that's $52,000. Let's go up to $2,500. So basically, you touched $60,000. You didn't pay your rent for 2 years. You didn't pay your rent for 2 years. Let me see something. Okay, so the median home price in PG County, Maryland, and DC is $450,000. $450,000. All right. So you could put anywhere from 3% to 10% down. I think first time home buyers. Hold on. We doing some math. Okay. So with first-time home buyers, you could put 0% down. You could put between 0% and 3% down, right? So 3% would have been $13,000 on a $450,000 house. 3% would have been $13,500, right? So let's go 60,000. Take away 13,500. Okay, you could have put down 3% on a $450,000 house and still have $46,000 left over in the span of 2 years. It doesn't, the median price is $450,000. Homes are high, but you don't have to pay the price. You can negotiate, get a lower price. I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that crap. They had enough money to put a down payment on a house that is $800,000. So stop with the homes are high. You know what else is high? Rent is high, and they ain't paying that. Yeah, the mortgage might be $4,000 a month. You're right. The mortgage. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Let's say they just put 10. Let's see. Man, listen, if they put, let's say they put excuse me. Nah, okay. So say if you would have put 45,000 down because they touched 60,000. This is 60. They got a $60,000 windfall, right? Shane. That's where I was going with it. They got a $60,000 windfall. They could have put 10% down, still had $15,000 left over to splurge and have fun with, and their mortgage would have been $2,500. They could have put 10% down on a $450,000 home and still would have had $15,000 to do whatever they wanted with. These people all could have been in homes by now. They could have been homeowners. This is not California where you go to buy a house and the damn thing is $900,000, $1 million for a house in the hood. Cut that crap out. These people just didn't want to, they wanted to get that money. Well, they were saving that money and they wanted to splurge. That's exactly what they wanted to do. And that's exactly what they did. They wanted to splurge. We need to stop making excuses. Yeah. So if they got a house, $450,000, their closing costs would have been anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000. Okay. But a lot of these places, especially when you're doing first-time home buyer programs, they know you don't have a lot of excess money. So the closing costs on those type of homes, those type of home purchases is greatly reduced. They could have put 3% down on that $450,000 crib, and their mortgage would have been a little bit higher, $4,000 a month, whatever. But I'm saying if they wanted to get a home, they could have had one. Oh yeah, 100% right, Shane. During COVID, everybody had money, and they was just blowing it. That's it. It ain't no it ain't no linear equation. It ain't no quadrilateral equation. I forgot the name of it. Quadratic equation. It ain't nothing like that. This ain't calculus. It's very simple. They had all this excess money. They splurged and spent it on God knows what. And now they at the county building begging for the city to do something because their landlord is evicting them. That's all this is about. That's literally all this is about. These people are fiscally irresponsible, and they want someone else to foot the bill. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick before we go to the next topic. You talking about PG County? You talking about DC? You go straight to hell. You got $60,000 extra dollars coming into your pockets, right? You're able to save that money because you're not paying rent. Boy, if you don't get the hell up out of that state. Oh, quadratic, yeah. Math wasn't my strong point. I use calculators. Nah. I don't want to hear that. Oh, the closing cost and all that crap. Nah. Some of these people was old too. You ain't working every day. What's up with this? You could go out here. Go to Indiana. Nice. This is a nice town. I was just in this town. Oh, I've been through some hard times. I was just in this town. Beautiful town. Zero crime rate. Lots of beautiful black families, white families. There's some Hispanic families there. You don't see a whole lot of Asians, but they're there, right? Beautiful town. There's jobs. It's very 30 to 45 minutes away from Chicago. It's a suburb of Chicago, technically. Don't tell me about, oh, the prices are too high. No, bro. 5-bedroom house, $299,000. 5 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet. Come on. This is a beautiful town. Inside, totally remodeled. Stop playing. It's out there. Stop with this. Oh, I pray y'all don't go through hard times. Crap. Nah, man. You going through hard times because you want to. And those were not hard times. If you're not, listen, what's the definition of a hard time? A hard time is when you don't got the money to pay for something. They had a good time. They didn't have to pay rent for 2 years. That means you see an economic or monetary windfall. $60,000 extra coming through your pockets. That's what is it called? Disposable income. You really supposed to be paying your damn rent, but since we know you're not going to do that, it would be considered disposable income. Look right here. You got a crib right here. $209,000. This look kind of raggedy though. It's all kind of old looking. Get you some new cabinets with all the money you're gonna save. I mean, this is not bad. 1,800 square feet. They got some nice, look at this right here. This one on the right-hand side. $199,000. 2 bedrooms, 3 baths. Yeah, these things are looking like some trap houses at this point. But the higher end stuff, the higher end in this place is $300,000. $299,000. I'm sorry, man. We in the weeds now with a little bit of the raggedier ones, but they got some nice spots over here. What is this? $271,000. Oh, this not bad. Yeah, look, man, listen. They could have been in a home if they wanted one. I'm telling you, they could have been in a home if they wanted one. They was out there in D.C., Chocolate City. They was balling. They wasn't worried about paying no rent. They wasn't worried about, I would rather live in Indiana than Texas by a lot. They wasn't worried about paying no damn rent. They had that extra money and they was, I got money to blow. They was Lil Wayne or whoever. This looks like my cousin's house. This is nice right here. My cousin got a house just like this. Hella nice. Come on, $284,000. These houses look like something off of a farm, but they nice on the inside. I'm just saying, everybody, you know, I ain't into counting other people's pockets or nothing like that, but damn, man, they ain't got nothing but pictures of the outside. Something's going on with that place. I'm not going to count nobody else's pockets, but there is definitely places that these people could have got in for the low and been owners. Yeah, I'll take this. I ain't tripping. 1,166 square feet. I'll take it. Why not? It beats the hell out of sitting up in D.C. at a county office talking about, oh, man, I couldn't pay my rent. And then somebody, oh, I hope y'all don't go, yeah, some old cabinets. You get all that replaced with all the money you're going to save. I like it. Oh, that's a VA down payment. But anyway, you guys get the point that I'm making. These people had an opportunity. I feel like they were presented with an opportunity and they squandered it. They were presented with the opportunity and squandered it. And now you back at the county office. You didn't blew the 60 bands that you had, the windfall. You didn't blew that. You blew it. I don't feel sorry for those people. Maybe some elderly people and stuff. But my thing is like this. If you're elderly, mostly you're on a fixed income. So if you're on a fixed income, your money comes. Social Security checks didn't stop coming during the pandemic. Keep paying your damn rent. Unless you stop paying your rent to make a move. Because one thing people don't know about evictions is you could wait 2 years to pay. Especially with an eviction moratorium, they can't evict you. But as long as you move out, they can't evict you. They could get all the way to the point where you got to show up at court. If you vacate that place and you're gone and you give that landlord back the keys and record yourself dropping the keys in the mailbox or whatever, they can't evict you because you're gone. You vacated. An eviction is just nothing more than a notice to vacate. You have to leave. It's forced vacate. It's forcing you to vacate. I learned that a long time ago. Man, please. Nah, the Midwest is nice. I'll move to the Midwest. The Midwest is hella nice. That little town right there where you saw them houses, that town is nice. Hell, they got everything I need. Jiu-jitsu, Lou Malnati's Pizza, movie theaters, and all that little bull crap. And if you want to go to the city, Chicago is 30 minutes away. That's a perfect place for me. I mean, and I'm a Cali boy. I'm used to, everything being right here. I can walk everywhere, right? But I understand, like, dude, if I want to get the most bang for my buck, guess what? I'm going to have to entertain the idea. Why is my camera so high? I feel like I'm looking up to look at you guys. Much better. If I'm going to get the most bang for my buck, then I have to look around and be willing to open my mind up to the idea of like moving somewhere else. That's all there is to it. But these people, I just know my people and I know our mindset on a lot of things. We got extra money, we gonna spend it. We got extra money, we're gonna spend it. That's just the way it is. Why is my black ass? Listen, I'm not the one who can't afford to pay for this stuff I got. What do you mean? I'm thinking about buying another house over there in Indiana. I'm thinking about just buying that so I can have something to give to my daughter when she get out of college. What are you talking about? I'm not the person in the county line talking about, hey, I didn't pay my rent for 2 years and I'm broke. That's not even how I think. I don't want to move to Texas. I've been in Texas a lot of times. I don't care for it. Big flying cockroaches and stuff. Y'all can have all that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, shout out to all my people watching on X, formerly known as Twitter. I know it say 58 on the YouTube side. We got like 130 people in here watching. We got people on Rumble. We got people on X. Shout out to my people on Rumble. Shout out to my people on Facebook. That ain't that many. And shout out to my people on YouTube. I see y'all. Don't think I don't see y'all. I see all y'all. I appreciate y'all being in here. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm loving every minute of it. Okay, so we got an update. This will be, I guess, our final update for today. I really would like to let y'all know these. I really would like to let y'all know if these officers lived or died in this shooting situation. But until we find out more about that, I want to let you guys know that these Nigerian girls who were kidnapped, there were a few hundred girls who were kidnapped, but a significant portion of them have been released following Donald Trump threatening to cut off all aid to Nigeria. And while that puts me in a celebratory mood, it also gets my antennae moving around. My spider senses are tingling because I'm saying the government was swearing that they couldn't do anything about the girls that were being kidnapped. But as soon as Trump threatens to cut off the money that we're sending to Nigeria, all of a sudden the girls are getting released. And mind you, a large number of the girls, they were abducted from a government school. They were abducted from a government-run school. So now, in my opinion, right, which is worth nothing, Tinubu has some answering to do. You guys swear you can't do anything, but you're telling me that now the terrorists were like, oh, America's going to cut off the money. Let's release these young girls. That something is not adding up with this mess. Oh, yeah. I'm with you, real talk. I'm seeing it. It's a scam. It's a total scam. Why all of a sudden when Trump threatens to cut the money off, now, oh, look, thank God they got released. They were released. Man, Tinubu is a little corrupt dude. He's a corrupt little dude. Let me play this. And shout out to Fox News for staying on top of this coverage. I mean, oh, they're racist. That's what black people say. But they on top.
24 schoolgirls abducted by armed groups in Nigeria last week are now free. Nigeria has seen a series of similar kidnappings in recent days, including at a Catholic school where 250 students remain unaccounted for. William Lajeunesse is following this story. He is in our London bureau with more. William, to you.
Hey, Molly. Crime, extortion, kidnappings, all too common in Nigeria, which is Africa's largest country, receives around $900 million a year in U.S. aid. But as you mentioned, there's been a series of kidnappings in just the last 2 weeks. And in fact, the video you're seeing here, just released in the last few hours, is the exception. All the girls rescued. Here's what happened. Last Monday, armed gunmen stormed the government-run girls' boarding school, killing a staff member, abducting 25 students. One escaped at the time. Then yesterday, Nigeria's president said he did not release any details, but they say the girls had been rescued. Others claim, that, including the bandits, that they were actually released unharmed after negotiations. Now, just 4 days after that incident, hundreds of miles away, gunmen abducted 300 students, 15 teachers at St. Mary's boarding school. 50 escaped, leaving, as you mentioned, about 250 still in captivity. Then there was a third incident last week. Gunmen attacked a church, killing at least 2, abducting 38 parishioners who, again, remain in captivity. These incidents have strained relations with the U.S., with President Trump threatening military intervention to stop what some call Christian genocide.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities.
So in the last decade, about 1,500 students have been abducted. Some have been Christian, others not. But Boko Haram, as the president's referring to, has targeted churches and persecuted parishioners. Molly?
Yeah, and now the eye of the president, and really the eye of the world, more on Nigeria as these stories continue to come out. William Lajeunesse, thank you for highlighting this. Appreciate it. Mike?
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.
Yeah, it ain't even too much to say about this. This is looking like it's a government-run scam. I'm sure the government, I'm gonna say allegedly, but it looked like the government is in cahoots with the kidnappers, and the kidnappers kidnap, and then they demand money from the families. The families, if they don't got money, probably asking for money from their relatives abroad, and they sending all this money to get the girls back. Man, Trump need to cut off all aid to Nigeria anyway. Just cut it off. Cut it off. Because I promise you, you are a Muslim. The people doing the kidnappings are Muslim. Is it a coincidence that this guy refuses to do anything about it until Trump threatens Nigeria's pockets? Not in my opinion. I just don't believe your leader could be from the same religion as the people doing the crime and really fight hard to end that, to stop it. Especially not in Africa where things are so tribalistic. And they practice tribalism with religion too. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, man. You guys can let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm just glad that these little girls are home. People keep saying, oh, it's not about religion, it's this and that. Bruh, it doesn't matter. These women are getting kidnapped out of government-run schools. You're getting kidnapped out of a government-run school. I got Amatera Sus. He says the Trump glazing never ends. Man, look, if somebody does a good job, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. That's how I was raised. I don't know how your mama raised you, but I give credit where credit is due. Y'all, I don't understand why we live in a society where people are mad because the president does good things. Honestly, like, ask these people one question. What would you have preferred for Trump to do? Just be like, man, that's Nigeria. That ain't none of my business. I'm going to just leave it at that. Like, what would you have him to do? It's so stupid. Little black babies have been kidnapped out of a school, and it might be something orchestrated by the government, and the U.S. president, who could have just said absolutely nothing and not even dealt with it at all, like, screw it, I'm not touching it. Trump could have said, I'm not touching it. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not involved. He made a threat. Didn't cost us a penny. Didn't cost them a penny. He made a threat and Nigeria capitulated, and now the some of y'all are so ridiculous with this negative mindset. We know you want to be a victim forever. We know you want to have a reason to say, the white man did this to me and the white man did that to me. We know that's what you're looking for, but you're not going to get it here. Here, look. Orchestrated the same way the USA and France had to invade Libya over lies. Trump wasn't president when that happened. That was Obama, your boyfriend. What does that have to do with Trump glaze? Trump said we were dumb to go into Libya. Trump said we were dumb to go into Iraq. How come somebody can't be happy because someone does a good thing that helps somebody? You just sound silly. Now you're moving the goalpost. I agree with you. The situation in Libya was wrong. Obama said it was one of the biggest mistakes of his presidency. What more do you want? I agree with you. They were wrong for what they did to Gaddafi. 100% wrong. But that means but in your mind, based on your logic, that means that the Nigerian girls can't be freed because of what they can't be freed by Trump because of what Obama did to Gaddafi way back, damn near shit. Now it's almost 20 years ago. That's pure glaze. You're not even factoring how it benefits them when African nations prioritizes themselves. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with the prioritization of African nations. This has to do with little girls that were kidnapped, and the Nigerian government wasn't doing anything about it, and the American president intervened and was like, hey, handle your business. Stop that stuff from happening. And now they're doing it. Not against what's going on in Nigeria. I'm saying there's more to it than that. Yeah, but we're not discussing what's more to it than that. We're discussing specifically what's happening in Nigeria. You're trying to give me an opinion about something that is not even really related to what I'm talking about. That's the problem. Stop leading the witness, as they say. Stop telling me what I think. You can ask me what I think, but don't tell me what I think based on what I say about something else. I don't like the Gaddafi murder either. It destabilized the region, opened up slave markets in Libya, all types of stuff. It was wrong to do. That's one of the many reasons why I don't vote Democrat. I voted for Obama once. I made a huge mistake. Didn't vote for him the second time, though. But this is how we shape our identity, our political identity, and we move forward with that. But if you constantly talking about how somebody glazes somebody and all this stuff, you're not helping the situation. You're just trying to shame because you're not because you don't agree with the person. You just don't know what that person believes. You gotta cut that out, man. That's some childish stuff. I'm just saying. But thank God the girls are freed. Thank God somebody was willing to stand up and do something about it. Sticks and Stones LA, salute to the channel. Thank you so much, my brother. How did y'all like this show at 3:00? Let me know how y'all like the 3:00 joint. I like this time. I feel like we got a lot more traction because we got 100-some people watching right now. So I think it's better for the audience on other platforms as well. And now I'm trying to tap in with the Rumble situation too. It's still not too late to drop a super chat, y'all, if you are in a position to do so. I know that we have Thanksgiving coming through. What is this? Okay. We got Thanksgiving coming through tomorrow. We'll probably do a little Thanksgiving stream in the morning. Just chop it up, talk about what we thankful for, all this type of stuff. So y'all get ready, tap in. It's gonna be tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it at 3. I don't know. I like this 3:00 time. Sticks and Stones, what you think about this 3:00 time? If you still in here, shout out to the bro for the $5 holler in the super chat. It's still not too late for one of y'all to drop a $20 holler in the super chat and help me meet my goal. Our goal was 5 super chats of $5. 5 super chats of $5. And the reward was the goal. If the goal was hit, the reward was we could talk about mamas. Nah. It was that we could talk about. Oh, it just said we could discuss more topics, but if y'all don't want to keep going. Yeah. Let me stop reading the chat. Hey, but thank all y'all for watching this. I appreciate y'all for joining me today. I hope you got something out of this. I really want to know if these National Guardsmen lived or died. That's really on my mind right now. Let me see. Oh. Yeah, so as of 21 minutes ago, they just are saying that they were shot. Okay. Ooh. So now an hour ago, they're saying it left 2 National Guardsmen dead. But see, I see one 4 hours ago saying that they were dead, and then I see one 21 minutes ago. Oh, wait. 21 minutes ago. Nah, so they had said that 4 hours ago that they were dead, but they walked it back. I want to know if it's official that they died or not. Who's rambling? Me? Who you talking to, Africulture? You talking to somebody in the chat? He said next topic. Nah, he talking. I know who you talking to. You talking to XX Amatera. I can't even read bro name. But I'm just trying to find out if these dudes died or not. So it's saying they are in critical condition. Yeah, it said they're in critical condition. It's not saying that they're dead. I think I got a homie who's in the National Guard. A suspect was also wounded and is in police custody. The crime scene has been secured. The shooting occurred in the Farragut Metro stop. 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard were targeted in an ambush-style attack. So, bro ambushed them. That's wild. Following the attack, President Trump called for 500 additional Guard troops to be deployed to the Capitol. The situation is actively developing. Are the National Guard troops dead? Hey, man, I promise y'all, I watched Nick Fuentes last night. They are not dead. They are in critical condition. Guys, so I've never, believe it or not, I've never watched Nick Fuentes, ever. I've never watched his show. So my boy Donnie sent me a link to the Nick Fuentes show, Make America Great Again with Nick Fuentes. And after watching this Nick Fuentes show, I just came to the conclusion that bro is just a gaslighter. You like Nick Fuentes is just saying whatever he can say that is going to rile up the part of the MAGA base and the white supremacists who watch him. That's it. The way Nick Fuentes smiles, his mannerisms, you know, he doesn't even believe the stuff he's saying. Nick Fuentes just has found a niche. He's rediscovered a certain niche within the political space, and he's found the spot and he's rubbing it. He's found the spot and he's found the itch and he's scratching it. The stuff he says, oh, Trump's betrayed you and all this stuff, there is a sentiment that reflects that within American politics. People who wanted Trump to become president and just become a dictator who only governs in the best interest of one type of American. That's what Nick Fuentes is doing. And it makes sense because Nick Fuentes is not a person who's accepted in polite society. I mean, the guy can never get a job. He can't ever go work on another media channel. He said he said things that have basically disqualified him from functioning as a normal human being. And while I might not be offended by the things he says, there are enough people who are offended by it for them not to watch Nick Fuentes, and for, you know, anybody with any type of brand or name recognition to not want to be associated with Nick Fuentes. So when he says this stuff, he says, I get it. Bro has to go extreme with the rhetoric because that's what drives his viewers. You know, he has 1 million people in the chat. I mean, 1 million people watching his videos, 40,000 people in the chat. Well, I mean, watching live streams. Well, so does Tim Pool. And Tim Pool doesn't have to say half the things that Nick Fuentes says. I think Nick Fuentes is in a good space right now. He's found Rumble. Rumble is way less, they do way less censoring. They let you kind of like say what you want to say, get your stuff off your chest, and they have minimal interference in that. And if you're a big YouTuber or content creator like Nick Fuentes or DJ Academics, they'll pay you just to primarily, you know, record and stream on Rumble. And Nick is doing his thing. He's doing his big one. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that. But at the same time, I'm not going to let you blow smoke up my butt, Nick. I got mouths to feed. I have a family to think about. Who does Nick Fuentes feed? Nick Fuentes just got to worry about Nick. So he could say crazy, outlandish things that really aren't rooted in any type of logic and feel valid in doing so. But you got to be out your damn mind as a grown man talking about, yeah, Nick Fuentes was right. He is right about a lot of things. Candace Owens is right about a lot of things. But I see Candace Owens doing the same damn thing that Nick Fuentes is doing. I see Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes doing the same damn thing Tucker Carlson is doing. Birds of a feather flock together. Will I say that makes them bad people? No. Will I say it makes me understand who I'm dealing with? Yes. Would I say it makes me understand that I got to take everything that they say with a grain of salt because they are running entertainment channels. These are not like true media channels. These are entertainment channels. Nick Fuentes gets on there and talks crazy to impress or entertain a significant group of white supremacists, right? And then on the other side, you have the conservatives who may not be white supremacists, but they identify and agree with enough of what Nick Fuentes says to give it a good listen. Right now, people, exactly. LTZ, exactly. Nick Fuentes is being a shock jock. That's a perfect way to put it. Nick Fuentes is just being a shock jock. I don't got time for that. I don't care about that stuff. I'm a grown-ass man, dog, like Cedric the Entertainer say. This is America. You can say what you want to say. That doesn't mean I have to believe it. That doesn't mean I have to buy into it. And that doesn't mean I have to allow it to control me emotionally. Shout out to my brother from another mother. Hit him hard, talked all that yin yang in the comments. But he made up for it by dropping a $5 holler and helping us get closer to our goal. We only got 3 $5 donations to get to our goal. Will you be the one to help us reach the goal? Will you be the one to help us reach the goal on the day before Thanksgiving? We ain't here cooking, man. We ain't here cooking, man. I like my views are. I like that my views are up. Even though y'all can't see them, I can see them, and they up, and it makes me excited. Makes me want to keep talking. Oh, okay. Also, we got to talk about this. So yesterday, I reported that a 6'5", 330-pound man was actually able to enter into the World's Strongest Woman competition and compete with biological women. He's a transgender woman, which means he's just a man. He was able to compete with biological women and basically destroyed them in the World's Strongest Woman competition that was held in, I believe, Texas. I believe it was held in Texas. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I hate giving misinformation. So let me check really quick. World's Strongest Woman. Yes, Arlington, Texas. So he was able to go down to Arlington. Big old, I didn't know this dude was 6'5". What woman do you know 6'5" and 330 pounds? Is probably 350 is more like it. It's crazy. So bro went down there and competed against these women, but the World's Strongest Woman organization, they actually stripped this dude of the title. They actually stripped this guy of the title. Thank God. Hold on. Strips. Excuse me. Excuse me. Jesus. Yes. So this guy. Hold on. So this guy's name is Jamie Booker. He is this guy's name is Jamie Booker. He's a humongous dude. First of all, no woman is beating this dude in any lift. He's big as hell. Not only is he, I guess he's reasonably strong, but this guy's huge. He's a physically imposing human being. He goes down there, wins with ease, but the organization, they did what they had to do. They stripped this guy of the title, and now the woman who happens to be black, who is the real winner, who was disgraced and embarrassed after being beat by a biological man who is ginormous, she is happy. She spoke out a little bit about what happened, and she walked off the podium. She jumped off the podium. She was so pissed. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so this guy's title was revoked. Okay, cool, perfect. I got a little clip. We could play a little clip. Hey, do you guys like the clips or do you hate them? Sometimes I think y'all don't like the clips because I notice when I just talk and I kind of just give you the report from my own lips, so to speak, I notice that we retain a lot more viewers. When I start playing clips, I notice our viewers go down. Let me know what you like, and I'll do it the way y'all prefer. I'm trying to make this channel for you guys. I definitely want to do what the audience likes. Do you guys like when I just report the news without any clips, or do you like the clips? I feel like the clips give like a good frame of reference for people who may or may not be familiar with the content or the information, right? But if y'all just want me to, freestyle it on you like this, I could do it. No problem. No, I'm talking about the clips in the live. When I play the clips in the live, that's what I'm talking about. I think some people don't like clips, even during the live. All right, so let's play this anyway. Let's get back to this Bonner chick. This Bonner dude. He ain't no chick.
Jamie Booker, a man, a Democrat, and really quite bulky one at that, won the World's Strongest Woman competition, lifting weights, in Texas last weekend by crushing a field of real women who are actually women lifting weights in the competition. The Strongman Archives website standings of the 2025 World's Strongest Woman contest showed that Jamie, J-A-M-M-I-E, Jamie Booker, taking first place in the division, obliterating his competitors who are actual women. But this morning, the standings were actually changed to show that Andrea Thompson from the United Kingdom, another country altogether, and a real woman as the actual winner of the women's weightlifting competition, the strong women competition. You see, after everyone with eyes, including some of the women who were actually competing against the man named Booker, made a stink about it, and the woman who came in second was not amused at all. She cursed just a little bit. And Booker was this morning stripped of the title of he had the women's title and now he doesn't, after the events organizers actually finally realized that he wasn't a woman at all. In a statement on social media, the official strongman.com, that's the organization on Al Gore's amazing internet, and they wrote, it appears that an athlete who is biologically male, which means you're a man, and who now identifies as female, which means he's confused, competed in the women's open category. Had we been aware, or had this been declared at any point before or during the competition, this athlete would not have been permitted to compete in the women's open category. Any athlete is welcome. Sure. But it is our responsibility to ensure fairness and ensure athletes are assigned to men or women's categories based on whether they are recorded as male or female at birth. So, Jason, is that fair or unfair?
I go with the organization. They have their rules, and those are the rules. And so I accept that. And I would say, you said she's a Democrat. I don't know where you got that evidence from, but the most famous trans athlete in the world is a Republican, and that would be Caitlyn Jenner. So I'm not so sure that you can say, oh, well, it's a Democrat. It's clearly
he was a Democrat when he made the leap. But
was he? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he was when he made the leap. But that's it. But you got to be female at birth, which seems pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
And what is it? A Tunisian boxer or something that we're all?
And
supposed to
Caitlyn
change
was
our
a
lives?
man. Caitlyn was a man when.
Caitlyn, Bruce Jenner. Then he became
Jenner.
Bruce.
Still got his
Jenner.
Wheaties box.
Bruce
This
Jenner. Do you really?
This organization does not have a case before the Supreme Court, but there are two cases this term that I'm covering that deal with this specific issue. It's whether states can require that you have biological sex as a criteria to compete in girls' sports. So you have to be a biological woman, which kind of seems like it would just be fair, obviously, for women's sports. But there's a case out of West Virginia, a case out of Idaho, where the justices will decide whether or not that violates the Constitution. And I think maybe some guidance from the Supreme Court on this will be helpful, not necessarily just for these states, but for organizations like this.
Maybe guidance from common sense and what the entire world has always known.
I'm not sure if Justice Jackson will, by then, she
Well,
might know what a woman
she doesn't know.
Yes,
She doesn't know what a woman is. What is she, a biologist? Come on, she's a Supreme Court justice. Now, before the competition, I'm hesitant to use the term stripped in this competition. Stripped the title from Booker, who's a man, the newly declared winner, Andrea Thompson, a woman, literally called BS, and we had to beep that part out, as she stormed off the podium, stormed off the platform. She was standing in the number 2 place, and she knew that there was this big dude standing next to her collecting her trophy and her money, while 3-time world's strongest woman champion, Rebecca Roberts, took to social media on Monday, writing, people born male should not be competing in the women's category. Seems kind of commonsensical, doesn't it? This isn't about identity. It isn't about politics. It's about the undeniable physical differences that exist in strength-based sports, differences that don't disappear and that matter more here than almost anywhere else, certainly in women's weightlifting. Women's categories were created for a reason, and if we...
Hey, let me tell you something. Ain't it crazy how the women, they supported all this nonsense when they just thought it would remain in the political sphere, right? But now that it's seeped over into real life, they didn't got common sense. They've discovered common sense. You're a bigot, you're a Nazi, you're Hitler, right? When you were imploring them, begging them to use rational thinking and reason, they didn't want to hear what you had to say. But once the transgender women or men or whatever, once the transgender started coming for the stuff they like, the stuff they care about, oh man, this is about what's right, what's fair. Now listen to this. The women will get on board with common sense to protect their sports, right? But they won't get on board with common sense to protect their children. Let me say that again. The women will get on board to protect their sport. They'll get on board with common sense to protect their sport, but they won't get on board with common sense to protect their children. Please. What? What? Somebody said they don't know any women who agree with this. Did you not see this? Why you need to watch my show. I played the video of Tish Hyman, a woman who was assaulted by a transgender in a bathroom at a Gold's Gym. She went to go speak to a senator named Anthony Weiner. His name's not Anthony Weiner, but his name is Weiner, right? He's in California where I am. He in California where I is. This Weiner dude, he's a senator. His name is Scott Weiner. Scott Weiner. So this chick, Tish Hyman, she was assaulted in the bathroom at Gold's Gym by a biological man who believes he is a woman. She goes to a meeting, a like community meeting or a town hall with this Scott Weiner dude, right? She's literally crying. She's crying, telling him how she felt violated. It's not fair, yada, 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 right? This dude looked her dead in the eye. He said, trans women are women. He looked her dead up in the face and was like, trans women are women. F what happened to you. F that you were assaulted by a transgender in the bathroom at the gym. Trans women are women, and there's nothing I can do for you. Can I tell you something, boo? Mrs. Domo, or I think you're a lady. I don't know any women that agree with this. Stop, Brandon. Do you know that it was nothing but women sitting in that damn town hall meeting? Do you know that it was a gang of white women sitting in this town? I'm going to play it for you.
Senator Weiner, as the only black lesbian here, can I please ask you a question because I flew here to do that? Yeah. Okay. As a lesbian woman who was attacked in the woman's locker room.
Wait, let's see how many women. I don't know any women. See, this is why people don't watch my channel. I'll be doing too much. I don't know any women who support this. Before we get started, I want y'all to see all these women's in the back row. You see all, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women over there. Let's make it littler. 11, 12. This is a woman, 13. 14 in the back. So there's 14 women in here. The women got the men outnumbered. They at least got the straight men outnumbered by 100%. So let's listen to this exchange since my boo said, I don't know any women who support this. Women are the ones who started this mess.
At Gold's Gym this week by a self-identifying trans woman with a documented history of domestic violence. I'm deeply concerned about women's safety in female-only spaces.
Okay, so just so you can hear so you know what she said. She was assaulted in the bathroom of a Gold's Gym by a biological man who is a trans woman who has a documented history of domestic violence. So she's trying to put an end to this. Let's keep watching.
What would you say to women who are seeking assurance that their safety will be protected from men who, by California law, can self-ID as women in women-only spaces, sir? Please tell me.
Yeah, so we want, everyone to be safe. And we also know that, we have trans people, both men and women, who are men and women. And so, so if you're trans women are women.
Senator, you've done great things with the bills you've passed with the housing. I've read a lot of your bills, and like you said, there are bills that need to be opened up. And
this man said, trans women are women. That was his response to this lady. And she goes on this little tirade and all that stuff. She gets mad, which I understand why she's pissed off. But where was all the other women? They didn't even clutch their pearl. Trans women are women, right? Trans women are women. Oh, I thought no women supported this, Domo Domo. They all support it.
I'm telling you now, millions of women across America are being harassed and sexually assaulted in locker rooms. I'm a lesbian Black woman. I'm not transphobic. I'm not homophobic. And I do respect a lot of the things you've done. But I do see a lot of these bills that you've passed that are dangerous for women and young children. And I understand that you're trying to be on a level playing field. And I'm here to represent my community.
I see all these bills that you've passed that are dangerous for women and children. She made it very clear. I see all these bills that you passed that are dangerous for women and children. I don't see any other women supporting her. I don't see any other women standing up like, whoa, 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 what you mean trans women are women? This woman is here trying to protect women. I'm a woman. Let's go forward to where she gets pissed off. Let's see where the women jumped up and walked out. Now you see all the women. It's way more women in there than men.
How they feel, please join in. But all of you are not. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but I'm a lesbian, and I'm telling you right now, men are harassing women in the locker room.
Let's let him answer the question.
I'm just telling you, since y'all want to woo.
No, just let's.
Now I'm done. And by
let's give the senator the opportunity.
I'm done.
I also know that trans women.
What you mean? I don't know a single woman who supports this. That's the point. That's the point. It's only women support. Women and gay men are the only people. A man will sleep with a transgender, but he ain't gonna. Most men are not gonna openly admit that, right? But I'm talking about the people who go out in public and fight for this nonsense. It's women and gay men. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity, Domo. You gonna take that one back? She don't speak for us. She just doesn't. Who doesn't? Who doesn't speak for you? You just said you don't. So you just said you don't know a single woman who supports the transgender stuff, right? But then when Tish is out here fighting against the transgender stuff, you're saying that Tish doesn't speak for you. So you're a supporter of the transgender stuff. Oh, okay. You're aware. You were wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Goalposts, that's what women do best. Shit. I ain't worried about that. Look at all these damn old turkey neck white women up in here. They love this type of shit. These are the women who say, I've been married for 40 years and I never had an orgasm. That's these type of chicks. Just dumb. You ain't figured out that getting an orgasm is your own personal responsibility. I ain't about to let nobody lay on top of me, flopping around like a damn fish out of water. Shout out to Hustle Smart. And I ain't gonna get my rocks off. Hell to the nah. What you mean? You ain't about to blow my damn back out and I don't get none if I was a female. And I ain't gonna be on top of nobody pumping for an hour and not get mine. These women are they're delusional. They're delusional. Look at these people. And then you wonder why their sons is walking around with dresses on, with hormone-grown boobs. They love this stuff because they just want to be a part of something. This is their way to fight the patriarchy. We're going to turn your sons into transgenders. I don't listen, Domo. You know you my baby, and you know I love you. But I don't never want to hear you say no stuff about, I don't know a single woman. I just showed you a room full of them, and there are thousands. There are thousands. But guys, we're going to have to wrap this one up. Thank y'all so much for watching this. I appreciate everything y'all do for this channel. How did y'all like that lo-fi at the beginning? I think I'm going to do that every show at the beginning. Play that little intro music. I think it's a nice way to kind of like reset the energy, you know? Reset the energy, get ourselves in a good headspace before we head out. before we head out, right? But I want to say thank you for everything you do for me. Thank you for everything you do for this channel. I appreciate every single thing you do. Hey, have a good Thanksgiving if you don't watch tomorrow. But watch tomorrow. We talk about some different things. We'll talk about the headlines, the topics, whatnot. And we will also talk about what we're thankful for and what we're going to eat for Thanksgiving and what's our favorite food. And do we mess with the turkey or is it too dry? We can have a little conversation. It's all good. I'm here for it. Thank y'all. Till the next time. Let's get it in there. Let's get it in there. Here we go. I'm so bad at this.
Thank you.